Brian. I've not had a lot of time. Hi all, hi Ricky. What do you think about Virkon tablets? Good or bad to use? Thanks, Brian. Right, I've absolutely nothing against Virkon tablets. However, they need to be used for the right purpose. What I am against is using something like this on a weekly basis when there's absolutely no need to. I don't get it. Again, it's just something that in my mind is going to affect and create a potential imbalance in that ecosystem because you're fighting, you're eliminating stuff. Who knows? It could be taking out good as well as bad in the pond. Ultimately, this stuff is a disinfectant. Please remember that. Virkon S is a disinfectant. From what I know, Virkon S, Virkon Aquatic, I believe is actually the same stuff. But please don't forget, it's a disinfectant. What we've found is a solution that you can use in the water to disinfect the water. Now, I will say, recently my Karashigoi that I'm growing on that you've no doubt seen, there was a bit of an issue in there where I was just getting little patches of scales that kept reddening, and it was concerning me a little bit. And what I did in the end, because I thought, through different things, I thought initially it was to do with the feeding, which I do think played a part, but very quickly from a knock, they were just starting to look a little bit angry, which I wasn't best pleased about. Completely on top of it now, what I actually did in the end with that, as well as reducing getting the stocking level, getting all the masages and things out, I started using Virkon S to disinfect the water. That was the purpose. And I was trialing, playing around with it because there's not too much information out there. And in my mind, I thought I'm going to have to keep hitting this. And what I gauged was you might find when you initially dose Virkon, your water will get quite foamy and quite bubbly. What I saw that initially just after the dosing happened, but very quickly that all disappeared, which tells me at that point, obviously the Virkon's fighting against the same as with other medication, fighting against biological loading in the pond. And yeah, I don't think it had, it certainly weren't in there for 24 hours. So what I actually did in the end was I dosed every day for 5 days in there with normal Virkon S powder, just to actually see how the fish responded to it. And it did do a good job at the end of it. Everything stopped looking angry. It was good. And then I just carried on for a few weeks after, just dosing it once a week. And ever since then, everything's been absolutely superb. So my thought process there was obviously something in the environment, the balance between the bacteria groups were possibly tipping a little bit more negative than positive. And I just wanted to try and restore that balance. So that was my idea on the disinfection of the 5 days, and then the following on, just keeping it there and tipping the scales, but then letting the ecosystem and environment look after itself. And that's where we've got this. Bear in mind, this wasn't a full blown. It wasn't a bacterial problem in the sense of ulceration, anything like that. That's absolutely not what we was dealing with. It was just a little bit of superficial surface damage, like something was irritating the scales slightly. It's worked well for that. Do I think it would work really well for a full blown bacterial problem? It would help in disinfecting the water, but that's a different beast because you've got a lot of treatment to do in actually sorting the fish out, direct treatment to the fish with antibiotics and stuff like that. So there we have it. But as a preventative thing, no, I'm not in for it for that, because what your pond's going to be in one or two states generally. It's either going to be where good bacteria is thriving or bad bacteria is thriving. If good's thriving, why do you want to be potentially damaging that with a disinfectant product? You don't. So if your pond's all good and everything's healthy, your regular maintenance regime should be more than enough to keep everything in check without throwing something like that in the water all the time. So my opinion, stay away if that's what you're looking to use it for. So there we have that one.